Hello and welcome back to Ballboy Media. I'm LJ and today we're going to be talking about yesterday night's blockbuster deal, one of many at this year's NBA trade deadline, which sent Jimmy Butler to the Warriors in exchange for Andrew Wiggins and a couple other players and picks. If you're new here, please leave a like and subscribe, and comment down below one player you'd like to see get traded at this year's deadline. It is currently 1:38, which means there are 82 minutes left, 4 players to be traded, and that'll be less by the time you're seeing this. Who do you want to see be traded in a buzzer beater deal? For me, it's DeAndre Hunter. I think he would be a good fit on the Cleveland Cavaliers if they were able to swap maybe Max Strus and Georges Niang for him. Regardless, let's get into this. The Warriors are picking up Jimmy Butler in this deal. The Heat got Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, who originally it was reported he would go to Toronto, but that is not the case. He's staying with the Heat. The Heat just traded P.J. Tucker, who they received in this deal, for Davion Mitchell and a 2025 first-round pick, which we will talk about later. The Pistons are getting 2 good guys here in Josh Richardson and Lindy Waters III, and the Jazz are picking up Dennis Schroeder. In terms of the Warriors' outlook, they're really shifting more assets now to accommodate Curry. It seems like he's kind of in his twilight years, and that's all right. He's been in the league, I believe this is his 16th season. He has earned to play with some more stars before he retires eventually. This team is in win-now mode, but still have assets to spare. Trading Andrew Wiggins definitely hurts, but acquiring a 5-time All-NBA player in Butler really eases that pain. Although they've played at a similar level this season, I believe when Butler can ascend his game, when he really feels motivated, which I think he will be in Golden State, I think it's a whole different story with him in terms of what he provides on the basketball court. Wiggins has become, beloved in Golden State, and I wish him all the best in Miami. Unfortunately, though, the business is business, and he will now be playing for the Heat. Jimmy, as I said, he's good when he's motivated. I guess we'll find out, as they make a playoff push. They're currently tied. I think the 9th through 11th seed in the Western Conference is tied. So the Warriors are, likely, unless they have a really good late season push here, likely looking at a play-in spot and a spot in the play-in tournament. They also still have young players like Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga if they want to continue trading. If they want to add maybe a Nikola Vucevic or someone of that nature, that would be another supplementary piece to this team and make them really interesting. They definitely have the means to do so. I think Moses Moody is more likely to be retained than Kuminga simply because Kuminga has a contract coming up this summer, and we'll see. I don't know if the Warriors are really going to be prone to giving it to him, especially after signing Jimmy Butler. In terms of Jimmy himself, the resume speaks for itself. 6-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA player, 5-time All-Defensive player. He's made the finals 2 times in 2020 and 2023, although he has not really been a big factor in the playoffs in 2024. He missed the series against the Boston Celtics. The Warriors inked him to a 2-year, $121 million extension, so roughly $60 million a year. He foregoes his player option next year for this upcoming free agent period, and he now has 2 years, so he's playing, with the Warriors, scheduled to play for the Warriors the season after this year and then the season after that. In terms of the Heat outlook, they acquire several winning players, and I think that that's really meaningful in this deal. And I also think it's really meaningful that they reach a conclusion on the Jimmy Butler saga. Jimmy Butler has become a really polarizing player for them, and I can't even imagine what it's like in the locker room when your proverbial lead as a player is not playing and he's kind of making all these public remarks and beefing with the general manager and ownership and all stuff like that. I think that, the playoff resume is going to be missed in Miami, but I think they're moving in a different direction and they're really starting to build up that Heat culture once again. Additionally, as I said, Jimmy has really had some effort issues, so I think that the Heat, who are 12-12 without him this season, will, now that they have that clarity and they'll have players playing in his place like an Andrew Wiggins, I think that it definitely could get interesting in Miami. I know the East is a little more lowly from a record perspective, but I think that they could definitely get one of the top 6 seeds, in the Eastern Conference. Tyler Herro is a first-time All-Star this season, and although Bam Adebayo has had his struggles, he really has boded well, and they've got some chemistry with rookie Kel'el Ware, who looks now like a front-runner to win the Rookie of the Year and be on an all-rookie team this season. The team is starting to find a balance, and I think that Wiggins will only add to that. I think a really gritty guy and a Heat culture guy. He has proven that he can rebound in big spots, which I think can be huge, and play great defense. We saw him play phenomenally against Tatum in the 2022 NBA Finals. Some even said that he should have been Finals MVP, although I disagree. But whatever the case is, I think Andrew Wiggins is a winning player, and I think he can really contribute something that Jimmy Butler was not going to for this Heat team. As I said already, PJ Tucker was scheduled to come to the Heat, and he is an embodiment of Heat culture. However, they have traded him to a guy that I think can also fit the grit of Miami, and that is Davion Mitchell. Kyle Anderson, again, as I said, he is going to, we're not sure what his situation is right now. He might get traded again. We'll have to see. In this deal, the Heat are also adding the Warriors' 2025 first-round pick, which is protected 1 through 10 this season, 1 through 10 next season, and then if it doesn't convey in those 2 seasons, it is unprotected in 2027. In terms of the Pistons' outlook, they're utilizing their cap space here. That we know that they do have cap space. We saw them add Kenyon Martin earlier, and they're adding 2 potential rotational players in Josh Richardson and Lindy Waters III. Lindy Waters is averaging 5.5 points per game this season. He's getting 17.2 minutes per game in 38 games. He really has been a key piece for a struggling Warriors team so far this season. We saw him have some good games in this stretch here where they've been kind of, falling off a little bit from their hot start. I believe they started 12-3. Josh Richardson is a 10th-year veteran. However, he has missed 35 games this season with heel inflation. It is currently unknown whether or not he is going to be able to play for the Pistons, but I think if he does, he can definitely be a solid guy and give him some spot minutes, maybe 8 to 10 to 12 minutes per game, and obviously a veteran, the type of guy you want to see in your locker room. In terms of the Jazz outlook, they obtained Dennis Schroeder, and I think they might reroute him. If they don't, I would expect them to buy him out. We see Danny Ainge here has had some clever moves at the trade deadline, and I think rerouting Dennis Schroeder might not be possible given that he kind of fell off from his early season production with the Brooklyn Nets. I think that buying him out is a viable option because I think he'll be able to join a contending team. I'm not sure who that team will be. Maybe it'll be a team that is in need of a little more facilitation off the bench. Perhaps the Milwaukee Bucks might be a team to watch for adding Schroeder. This is Schroeder's 3rd team already this year, and although he won't suit up so it won't count, he may very well be looking at his 4th very soon. Thank you for watching. We're churning out these videos. I'm still going to keep them going after the deadline at 3 o'clock because